Hello and welcome to Tribute to My Dad, Day 4. Uh, this would have been done yesterday on June 4th because I'm doing one every day. But we had some technical difficulties, and I'm having quite a bit of technical difficulties today. And hoping this works now. We will see. So to get started, as you all know, my dad grew up in a farm, like I explained, killed his own animals for food. His dad killed them. He had to catch the chickens. Uh, take the little uh, washer, tie a string around it, tie the string to a stick, and swip it around the chicken's legs to trip it up and wrap around the chicken's leg and catch it. I wouldn't do that, but he had to do that, pluck them. So did his brothers and sisters. I don't know if animals can sense that, but ever since then, I don't know if my dad's been in tune with nature. He's had some animals that love him, but usually wild animals. As far as one time he was on break for a smoke break when he smoked. He died of COPD. So, disclaimer: don't smoke. Bad for you. He went out for a smoke break where he worked as a janitor at a mental health hospital and came face to face with a moose. The moose didn't back down. I mean, this was in the city of Bangor. Bangor, however anybody watching this wants to pronounce it. And the moose didn't back down. My dad was looking him eye to chest. It was a big moose. So my dad kind of backed away a little bit. And the moose didn't move backwards or frontwards. But then the moose snorted at him. And my dad backpedaled a little faster and in the door and forgot his smoke break. Figured cigarette wasn't that important. So for him at that point in his life to choose to run and to choose that cigarettes were not that important shows you that he respected that moose. And that moose did not probably mean him well. But one of my favorite stories, people that know my dad know that he was a huge fisherman. Loved fishing. Some of my first memories of him are fishing with him and my brother. And at the beginning, he would fish. We would go play with rocks under the bridges wherever we played, because we usually fished on the river near bridges. Good place to catch fish, I guess. Argyle, Bass Bridge. We would be playing under there, and then when we got older, we were like, we want to catch fish. We'd see him catching fish. They were fun, so we would catch him, and we'd still, even in the pouring rain, which was good because no bugs, but we'd have to get those sticks with the Y's and stick it in the ground and put our reel into it to keep it out there while we went under a tree or something or the bridge for a respite from the rain. So it was on one of these occasions when me and my brother were not there that he went fishing with my mother's father, who he called Dad too. They were very close. I always thought, why do you call him Dad? He's like, because I've known him for a long time, and I just call him. He called my mom's parents Mom and Dad. So he was fishing with my mom's father, my grampy, at Bass Bridge, one of our bridges up near my church that I currently go to, actually. So I've been in this area for a while. And my grandfather was in his, I want to say 50s, late 50s, because my dad would have been in his 30s when this happened. They were fishing at Bass Bridge. My grandfather was near the boat landing where people put boats in. It was down an incline from the road, and the car was parked up on the incline near the road. That was a flat spot to park the car. My dad had walked further down along the shore of the river and was casting through trees to see if he'd catch anything there, away from the bridge a little bit. And he heard a clicking noise. And as I said, me and my brother were in tears when we heard this, because this story just is one of our all-time favorites. He heard a clicking noise as he was reeling his reel in. So he, as I said, he's 80% deaf, so he could hear a clicking noise. It was pretty loud. And so he put the reel up to his ear, and he's reeling it in, and nope, that's not clicking. So he threw it back in, and he was waiting, not reeling at all, and he heard a clicking noise again, and it kept going, and he said, what in the world is that? So he looked down to his left, and sure enough, there was a raccoon there. Not a huge, big, huge raccoon, but probably a juvenile, maybe between juvenile and adult raccoon. And he was there washing his hands, looking up at my dad, you know. And I told my dad, maybe he was thinking you were going to bring him in something to eat, so he was just washing his hands for lunch. Because he saw you guys fishing, saw you bring in a couple probably already, and said, hey, they'll bring me in some food. And my dad would always say, no, he wanted me for food. And this is coming from a man in Pasadumke who had a raccoon for a pet growing up. That would kind of gross sounding, but if he had bubble gum, or even if you pretended to chew something like your tongue, raccoon would reach in your mouth and try to take it out of your mouth. And then, of course, you know, he kept him out of the outhouse because he would play with the toilet paper. And yes, my dad had an outhouse, no indoor plumbing, you know. He lived in the 1950s donkey, which was about the 1900s. Very country. But this is coming from a man who had a raccoon as a pet. And he still was a little leery. So he watched him and he was reeling his reel in slowly so he wouldn't jump the raccoon. And all of a sudden the raccoon, maybe he knew his intentions, he wasn't bringing in a fish for him, lunged at him. So my dad, bad back and all, grabbed his reel backwards, so it was dragging behind him, and he's huffing it through the long grass and the jumping over sticks, killing his back, but he's yelling for my grandfather, and my grandfather has hearing aids, so my grandfather, you know, they're already at a disadvantage. He's yelling, so he sees my dad running, doesn't know what he's running from, because I heard this version of from my grandfather too. That was the thing, I got both versions, so I knew it was true. He saw my dad running, didn't know what he was running from, thought it was a bear the way my dad was running, so he took off up to his Subaru car that they had brought. And he turned around, and when he turned around, he saw my dad running, and then in the long grass behind my dad, about 10 feet behind him, every few seconds he'd see, out of long grass back in, he'd see the raccoon. So he probably thought rabies too, like my dad, so he jumped in the car, locked his door. Don't know if he thought a raccoon could open the door, but he locked the door anyway. And my dad finally made it to the car and got in, and we teased him so much, and while my grandfather was there telling the story with him, my grandfather was laughing at him being chased. And my dad, as I said, my grandfather was 20-something years older than him. My dad would look at my grandfather and say, hey, what are you teasing me about running? You beat me to the car. You're older than I am, and you beat me to the car. So it was one of those things that it was just a riot to hear them two tell the tale. And then from then on, if we saw a raccoon attack someone in a movie, one of those comedy movies like Elf or Saving Silverman, my dad would say, not a word, not a word, not a word. He wouldn't want to hear it because he knew what we were going to say. So he definitely would not appreciate us making fun of him. So I don't know if he'd appreciate me telling that story, but I had to share it because, like I said, it's one of me and my brother's favorites with him. So let's get right into this. He grew up in the 60s, and if you grew up in the 60s, there's a chance that you heard this band. They were a duo of brothers. I'll explain after who they are. Most of you will know them that listen to this channel. So let's get right into it. Johnny's a joker, he's a bird, a very funny joker, he's a bird. But when he jokes my honey, he's a dog. His joking ain't so funny, what a dog. Johnny is a joker that's a trying to steal my baby, he's a bird dog. Johnny sings a love song like a bird, sings the sweetest love song you ever heard. And when he sings to my gal, what a howl. To me he's just a wolf dog on the prowl. Johnny wants to fly away and puppy love my baby, he's a bird dog. Hey bird dog, get away from my quail. Hey bird dog, you're on the wrong trail. Bird dog, you better leave my lovey-dove alone. my chick. Hey, bird dog, you better get away quick. Bird dog, you better find a chick a little of your own. In my arms when I want you, and all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream, 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 dream when I feel blue in the night and I need you to hold me tight whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine, anytime, night or day. The only trouble is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I need you so that I could die. I love you so, and that is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream, 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 dream. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. We both been sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. The movie's over, it's 4 o'clock, and we're in trouble deep. Wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. Well, what are we gonna tell your mama? What are we gonna tell your pop? What are we gonna tell our friends when they say, ooh la la? Wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. Slow ones my dad always loved. These are the ones that he would take my mom by the hand and dance with her in the kitchen. And yes, I said my mom danced, and not in church. She would dance in church too, but not this time. He'd grab her by the hand whenever there was a love song, usually Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, or one of these. And they would waltz and dance in the kitchen, and I still dance with my wife in the kitchen to this day for that reason. Because that's what married people do. They dance in the kitchen. Darling, you can count on me till the sunrise of the sea. Until then, I'll always be devoted to you. I'll be yours through endless time. I'll adore your charm sublime. Kiss by now, you know that I'm devoted to you. I'll never hurt you, I'll never lie, I'll never be untrue. I'd be unhappy if you were blue. Through the years our love will grow. Like a river it will flow. It can't die because I'm so devoted to you. I bless the day I found you. I want to stay around you, and so I beg you, let it be me. Don't take this heaven from one if you must cling to someone now and forever. Let it be me. Each time we meet, love, I find complete love. Without your sweet love, what would life be? So never leave me lonely. Tell me you love me only, and that you'll always let it be me. And he did love those slow ones, but I think his favorite fast one would have to be this one. Maybe this is where NSYNC got the whole bye, bye, bye. There's only 2 bye-byes, but... Bye-bye love, bye-bye happiness, hello loneliness, I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye love, bye-bye sweet caress, hello emptiness, I feel like I could die. Bye-bye my love, goodbye. There goes my baby with someone new. I sure am happy, I sure am blue. He was my baby till he stepped in. Goodbye to romance that might have been. Bye-bye love, bye-bye happiness, hello loneliness, I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye love, bye-bye sweet caress, hello emptiness, I feel like I could die. Bye-bye my love, goodbye. I'm through with romance, I'm through with love, I'm through with counting the stars above. And here's a reason that I'm so free. My loving baby is through with me. Bye-bye love, bye-bye happiness, hello loneliness, I think I'm gonna cry. Bye-bye love, bye-bye sweet caress, hello emptiness, I feel like I could die. Bye my love, goodbye. Bye-bye my love, goodbye. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Okay, that was the Everly Brothers medley, tribute to my dad because he absolutely loved them. They had a falling out. Like I said, they were real brothers. Spent a little too much time together, apparently. Had a little falling out. Stopped releasing stuff. But then they came back on main public television. Did a 25th, I believe, 25th reunion concert where they were dressed all in tuxes and all that. And just them two and guitars up on the stage. In the middle, I believe, Carnegie Hall. And like I said, it was on Channel 12, so we could watch it. My dad, you would have thought, he won the megabucks. He was so happy when he heard they were going to do that. He was ecstatic. He wasn't sure how they'd sound after all the years. But I'm telling you, a 25-year reunion, they sounded as good as the original times they released it back in the 60s. It was unbelievable. Their vocals, the guitar playing, the harmonization, brothers growing up, they knew how to sound good together, and they definitely did. That's why my dad loved them so much. So that was for day 4 for my dad, the Everly Brothers medley. If you like this video, down there you'll see the thumbs up. Give it a like. Comment if you'd like. If you heard part of a song that you'd like to hear a full cover of, comment it. I'll see what I can do for you, and I'll tag you in it if you comment. And subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss any of these. And follow me on Facebook because I send this link right to Facebook once I upload the YouTube videos. So Facebook friends are usually the first to see my videos because it's right there on my wall. So follow me on Facebook if you haven't already, if you have Facebook. And you'll be one of the first ones to see them as I come up with day 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to day 16, which would be my dad's birthday. I thought of going to 18 in honor of Father's Day, but this is about my dad, who was my father, obviously. But I'm going to do a special birthday one for him on his birthday and end it there. And I may do, each year I may do something on his birthday. I might not do all 16 days again, even though I have enough songs. Like I said, his iPod, 3,000 songs on it. And he had many more good songs. I'm just doing his favorite, the best of the best. But subscribe to my channel, like this video. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening, and God bless.